Professor Swag. Hey, we're going to talk about Dwayne Haskins and all you haters for a quick second. We're going to talk about him real quick. So first thing first, we already know, if you don't know, Dwayne Haskins is one of the QBs on the roster for the Washington Redskins, but he's been moved to the bench. All right? Many of you are hating on him, talking bad about him like he just sorry, like Kyle Allen is better, X, Y, Z, and you got your opinions, and I get that. But let's just break this down, what Dwayne Haskins is actually going through with this franchise. Let's just break that down, right? So first thing first, the Washington football team, which was formerly known as the Washington Redskins, did not even want to draft Dwayne Haskins from the start. They didn't want him. They wanted somebody else, and it was rumors believed that they actually wanted to get Daniel Jones over Dwayne Haskins. But okay, he was the best QB left out there in the draft, so the Redskins picked him up, which was the wisest decision. He's the best proven QB out there in the draft that was still remaining, so they got him. Okay, keep in mind, when he was drafted, the coach that he has now wasn't the coach he had at the time. He was drafted under Coach Jay Gruden. Jay Gruden, although he had a little bit of success with Washington, he wasn't exactly the perfect fit for that organization. They got a couple of division titles, or like maybe one or two under his name, but he wasn't the best fit for that organization. So Dwayne Haskins, in his first season with the Washington football team, of course, it wasn't great, as we all know. It wasn't great. But let's just break down some key factors. When he got there, 16 players had got injured throughout the season, which his original offensive line wasn't even there. 16 players got hurt throughout the season. So 16 starters were gone. 16 starters. So he didn't even have anybody to like really just protect him. Keep in mind, after about week 6, I believe it was week 6, Coach Gruden gets fired, and they bring in the running backs coach and make him the interim coach. Now, honestly, he improved the offensive scheme real good, but, you know, all the damage was already done throughout the season. So, you know, Haskins eventually got his first win out of maybe, you know, so many games or so. Okay. Fast forward 2020, fast forward to 2020. This is Haskins' second season. Mind you, we already know Gruden was fired. He had an interim coach. In the offseason, he got let go too. So during the offseason, the Skins decide to hire Coach Rivera. Ron Rivera gets hired. You know, he has a pretty good resume. He has a Super Bowl appearance and an NFC championship. You know, taking the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl, only to lose against the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning. All right. He comes in. Haskins was already the starter, so he kind of had the position till, you know, offseason, because you still got to earn it. And Haskins worked his butt off like everybody else, and he earned the starting position. All right, he earned the starting position. Game 1, Haskins showed his true potential as a QB. Things weren't going great, but game 1, Haskins showed you he could be a great leader of a team. They were down 17 points, and they turned around and they won by 10. The score was 27-17 at the end of the game. The Redskins were losing 17-0 at halftime. Haskins gave a good speech. They did what they were supposed to do. Got it, right? Fast forward, right? Next 3 games aren't so good. They aren't so good. Haskins lose all those games. He lost to Arizona. He lost to Cleveland. He lost to Baltimore. Now, granted, I would say the Cleveland game was pretty much his fault because he stared down receivers. I get it, you know. But in his defense, the Redskins do have one of the worst offensive lines in the league. They have one of the worst offensive lines in the league. So take note of that. One of the worst. They played against Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Our defense is good, but it wasn't quite where it needed to be that day. And our offense didn't really get going to the second half. Now, keep in mind, in this game against Arizona, we were still in the game. Even though we was losing, we was down by 2 scores, we were in the game. Coach Ron Rivera did not make any calls as far as time management to give us a shot to win the game. He didn't call any timeouts, didn't take proper advantage of any 2-minute warnings, any of that stuff to give the Redskins a fair chance of winning that game. So take note of that. Coach Ron Rivera did not do that. And in fact, when asked about it at the end of the game, he basically said he wanted to play it safe or something along that line and didn't want to risk any players getting hurt. He said something along that line. Not those exact words, but you can get the gist of what I'm going with. Next thing, right, we play Cleveland the following week. That's the game that I say it was pretty much Haskins' fault because he stared down receivers against Cleveland. However, we were still in that game, and Coach Ron Rivera did not do anything as far as game management to try to win that game. He didn't do any special timeouts. He didn't try to do any, ice the kickers. He didn't try to do anything that would give us a chance to come back and win that game. He didn't do any of that. The next game was against Baltimore. Haskins actually had a pretty decent game in that. His stats were good. However, the media focused on Haskins so-called bragging about his stats in that game, which he had a good game, but he was still benched. So if you're Dwayne Haskins and you have a good game and you get benched, that does kind of hurt your morale. And they say, he was sick or whatever and he stopped showing up for practices. Okay, XYZ. No one knows the truth but Haskins and the organization. They know the truth. We don't. What really irritates me is how the media put so much focus on him so-called bragging about having a good game. He got to have some type of motivation to hold on to. That's anybody. But what gets me is all these games we were still in, and Coach Ron Rivera did not do anything to try to give the team an opportunity to win. He didn't do anything as far as timeouts and time management and trying to make critical decisions that would give the Redskins, Washington football team, an opportunity to still yet come back and win those games. All right, next game, the Giants. The Giants is the worst team in the league at the time. Them, the Jets, the Falcons, they all there holding on tight, basically like they trying to fight for the first round draft pick in the next year's draft. But anyway, they're the worst team in the league. Throughout the week, he had announced that Haskins would be demoted to QB3 and Allen would be promoted to QB1 and Smith would be QB2. Now, I still don't quite see why Smith would be 2, even though we know Smith is a great game manager. But for, safety reasons, I don't see why he was still number 2. I would have saw Allen 1, Haskins 2, then Smith 3, because you still kind of want to preserve your veteran quarterback there who's still got a little bit in the tank if he gets the perfect opportunity. But anyway, back to the top. The Giants, it's the worst team in the league. Kyle Allen starts. He takes a hit. He doesn't take a hit. Kyle Allen starts. He plays or whatever. We're in the game. We lose to the Giants by 1 point because Coach Ron Rivera decided to go for a 2-point conversion. He said he wanted to give the team a chance to win the game and not tie. Okay, I get it. But why did you not do that throughout the beginning of the season when Haskins was in there at QB? Why you didn't exercise that same opportunity with Dwayne Haskins? Why did you not be fair and impartial with Dwayne Haskins at QB and try to give the team maximum opportunities to score and win the game? Now, I'm not going to say Haskins is better than Kyle Allen or vice versa, because they both still got a lot of learning to do. But I will say I am more favored in Haskins. If he can quit staring down defenders, he'll be able to make some better decisions. He'll find more people open if he can quit doing that. But the same thing, Kyle Allen, he's mobile, but he has the advantage because he's already come from Rivera's system. So the impression I get is that Rivera never really wanted Haskins in there. That's the impression I get. He just accepted the fact that Haskins was the starter, and he, quote unquote, gave Haskins an opportunity over a period of 4 games, and then he put Kyle Allen in. Now, okay, like I said, Haskins did stare down some guys, especially in that Cleveland game. He missed some reads that he should have made. But Coach Ron Rivera still was not fair and impartial when giving maximum opportunity to try to win the game. You're getting paid to try to win the game. You're getting paid to do whatever it takes to try to win the game. The Redskins hired you specifically so that the organization can win some games. And what you didn't do was exercise that opportunity with Haskins to try to win some games. You did it with Kyle Allen, but you did not do it with Dwayne Haskins. That there really just kind of gets me. Like, how do you not do that as the coach? Now, shouts out to Kyle Allen for getting his first win against the Cowboys, because that's a big game for the division. It's a bit. Both of the QBs have won games against division rivals. However, one of them is 1-1 against the division, and the other one is 1-0 against the division. But anyway, that's what everybody should be talking about. Everybody should be talking about, why didn't Coach Ron Rivera utilize every opportunity to try to win the game when Haskins was the starter for those first 4 games? Now, well, I say this, games 2 through 4, because the first one we won. But why didn't Coach Ron Rivera do that? We know he has cancer. I'm not going to deny it. We know he was going through some things at the time. I'm not going to deny it. But when Kyle Allen was in, you did it. And if you didn't have the capabilities of doing it, why didn't you give somebody the responsibility to cover down for you to make those decisions when you couldn't? And if you did, who is that individual? Who is that person that should have been making those decisions if you did hand down that responsibility in that situation? That's what I'm talking about. So for all you people who hating on Haskins, you hate him. I ain't gonna say hating, but for all of you that are talking down on him about his gameplay, and I get it, yes, he looked down some receivers and he does got a lot of work to do especially in that particular area. why not channel some of this energy towards Ron Rivera for not exercising each opportunity to try to win the game? That's the problem I have with people talking down on Haskins. You're talking down on him. It's his second season, his third coach. And you completely acting like Coach Ron Rivera did not have anything to do with making key decisions like calling timeouts when they were needed. You know, time management in the game for the first 4 games. Granted, we did win the first one, but what about games 2, 3, and 4? What about those? That's what I'm talking about. But that's all I got to say. That's my 2 cents. It's Professor Swag. Follow me here on YouTube and hit that subscribe button.